I was approached by a representative of Leads.com who had presented to me a format for internet marketing of a startup of an aspect of my practice, a bankruptcy practice, and having become familiar with internet advertising through other campaigns for different portions of my business, I was able to engage Leads for the purpose of starting and managing an internet advertising campaign specifically for the bankruptcy section of the firm, which I'd recently added. And Leads managed the creation of the website as well as working with me for the purpose of establishing the internet marketing campaign, the language of the campaign, and worked with me to help me gain a fuller understanding of the actual process utilized in developing the campaign to maximize its efficiency for me economically in terms of maintaining a tolerable cost for a startup while generating a significant amount of business through the program that they put into place. Since we engaged Leads, we have recognized the performance meeting and exceeding other internet campaigns through other third-party providers in the startup phase of the business. We've been very pleased with it. Well, I mean, the challenge is putting together an effective marketing campaign with a call to action to give a specific motivation to an individual looking for help. When you deal with something such as bankruptcy, what you hope to achieve is to bring a buyer, not a shopper, to your office. You're looking for somebody in need of assistance. The call to action is triggered in part by the language in the ads used for the internet marketing. So what we have experienced is a number of callers who actually come in the office for the purpose of retaining our services, who are actually have enough information based upon what's on the website to have them prepared when they come in to be discussing relatively intelligently, as much as a layperson can, the aspects of filing a bankruptcy, whether it's a 7 or a 13. As far as the numbers go, that's an interesting question because whenever you initiate an internet campaign, the first 2 weeks of your ramp up, you have a certain amount of bounce in the volume of the phone calls by virtue of individuals calling to shop and check your pricing or for the purposes of selling you services because they find a new business listing on the internet. And Leads, the representatives at Leads were able to work with us to work with the internet service providers, the advertising providers, to make sure that those types of erroneous phone calls didn't account towards the budget which we had allotted to generate actually good leads. So we've been very pleased with the numbers that have come in. And I'll say the people who come in are buyers, not shoppers, which is really kind of the proof in the pudding that we look for. You know, I'm a sophisticated internet marketing purchaser as far as lawyers go. I wasn't skeptical at all because I was aware of the amount of business that could be generated through a moderately effectively managed internet campaign. That being said, knowing going into the project what my expectations were, which were very high based upon my success in internet marketing with other aspects of my practice, I was pleased with how it performed. Yeah, and you know, the skepticism thing is silly because it's for somebody, and I've mentioned this before, but you have to be able to rationalize the expense in an advertising campaign as an investment. It's clearly not an expense. An expense is something that you once the money's out, you never get it back. You may get a tangible product in return, but it doesn't really generate revenue. As an example, purchasing a computer, clearly an expense. Marketing, especially internet marketing for a business such as mine, which is a services-oriented company, is an investment. We've seen more than a 5-time return on our money invested at this point on the business that's come in the door, which for us is very, very acceptable. You typically would view a performance of your internet campaign or your advertising dollar return on your investment 4 to 1, good, 5 to 1, better than good, well above average, and then 6, 7 times you're hitting home runs. So I can say with regard to the statistical performance relative to the revenue that's come in, it's performed better than I thought it would. When you deal with a service-oriented company, whether it's your car mechanic, whether it's your dentist, whether it's an advertising company seeking to help you market your business, you gauge your satisfaction in any service oriented enterprise with the amount of service that you receive. The issue is, if you have concerns, are they addressed? Are they addressed promptly? Are they brushed under the table? Do you feel like you're being put off? Is something being done? Is something not being done? Clearly, in this situation, as an example, if you took your car into your mechanic and said something's wrong with the brakes, and he says, I fixed them, and when the brakes don't perform, you would take it back to the mechanic. If he doesn't promptly fix them, well, you're going to go somewhere else. And I hate to be such a basic comparison, but in this case, before the project was rolled out, I had some issues with the web design. I made it known to the folks at Lead. I don't even know who I was talking to be quite frank, because in my estimation it didn't really matter. I talked to somebody from Leeds, and without knowing who I was, without knowing or having any personal investment in my performance of my company, they were very prompt in making the changes, which tells me that at least with regard to service, Leeds provided a level of service with the rollout of the campaign that exceeded anything I've ever experienced in almost any area of purchasing